Good evening. We are bringing you commentary of Newcastle against Manchester City today from the Premier League. I'm your alternative host, Russ Vernon, alongside your alternative commentator, Matt Iles, and you're listening to the Commentary Hub. We've had a revamp since you last listened to us last night, and we're now known as the Commentary Hub instead of the previous name, which you may know as Football Commentary Live. We'll be bringing you the same content as we have, but we'll also maybe branch out to other sports in the near future, hence why we've changed up the title of the channel. We're delighted to fetch you this game this evening, and I'm delighted to have on commentary this evening. He did a great commentary last night alongside the brilliant debutant Aaron Ayer. That is the excellent Matt Iles. And Matt, good evening to you, my friend. How are you doing?
Good
You doing
evening.
okay? Looking forward to the game tonight?
Yeah, I am. First of all, good evening, everybody. I'm liking the new logo, the new revamp. So whoever was behind that, hats off to you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. It has the feel, both sides, of course, know already the situation at hand. Of course, Newcastle safe, Manchester City already Premier League champion. So it does maybe have that feel to be a little bit of a dead rubber. But, I still think both sides will always have that eagerness to win. You're in football to win. So it could be an interesting game, to say the least. Of course, both sides fans were quite happy this week with what unfolded in terms of, their respective positions. So, yeah, it should be an interesting contest, this one tonight.
You're right, indeed, Matt. Should be an interesting contest tonight, indeed, and I'm looking forward to this one. Steve Bruce got named Manager of the Month earlier today for April, and a lot of controversy surrounding that. Some Newcastle fans didn't think he should have got it. A lot of fans didn't think he should have got it as well. Neutrals, not just Newcastle fans. A lot of fans thought that Leeds United boss Marcelo Bielsa may have got the Manager of the Month award for April, especially beating Man City 2-1 with a full half with 10 players at the Etihad, the home of the champions, now newly crowned champions. But Steve Bruce won the award, Matt, and normally if they win the Manager Month, it normally brings a curse to their side, which they're managing. Do you reckon it'll bring a curse to Newcastle tonight and Man City will still get the 3 points? Because Man City are favourites for this one.
Yeah, as you would expect them to be, of course. I mean, it is well known about the Manager of the Month curse that, you win it and then your next game you lose it. Unfortunately for Steve Bruce, it's just when the champions arrive in town. So, yeah, it couldn't be any worse of potentially the curse striking again, could it, with Manchester City coming? But, he'll be open to win. I mean, obviously, he's trying to build bridges with the Newcastle fans. Big award that he won, which I did think he probably just about deserved, given that the month before and that last game in March they had against Brighton was an absolute disaster, and it was pretty much the game you almost thought that Newcastle looked dead and buried, but they had a good month and really pulled away. And obviously, with 3 games to go, they've secured their safety.
Yes, a lot of fans of Fulham and West Brom, who was down there at the time, not already relegated. Sheffield United as well, for Newcastle said back in March, in fact, I was speaking to a few and they said back in March that Newcastle would be safe, the bottom 3 would go down as it was, and no, there was right in the end. Newcastle just making their way out onto the field of play. Scott Carson I think he was last played in the Premier League, or last kept a clean sheet in the Premier League on this day a few years ago when it was at West Bromwich Albion. Scott Carson last kept a clean sheet in the Premier League against Everton, and he starts tonight for Manchester City. Manchester City debut tonight for Scott Carson. How big of how do you think he'll be feeling ahead of that one? Obviously, he says he's nervous like he is for every game, but do you reckon he'll be extra nervous being his debut for the champions?
I think, he will be feeling a little bit anxious, of course. You always want to make good on your debut, don't you? Whatever age you are, whether you are 35 in his case or you're 19 years of age. I was listening to his interview beforehand, and he was sort of saying that he'd been waiting nearly a year to make his debut, of course, but because of Ederson chasing the Golden Glove, it meant his debut was delayed, and obviously he's had to wait and be very, very patient, because Zach Steffen, the second choice American goalkeeper, has really shone in the cup games as well. So he's had to wait his chance, but he's got it tonight, and it just shows that hard work can pay off. But he'll be looking forward to it, playing in the game for the newly crowned champions of England once more.
Yes, he will indeed, Matt. He'll be looking forward to playing tonight and potentially keeping another clean sheet tonight for Manchester City. His last Premier League clean sheet, incidentally, which I was just referring to, was on 14th of May 2011, just 10 years to the date. He was playing for West Bromwich Albion, and West Bromwich Albion won 1-0 against Everton. Everton in the side had current Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. Inter Miami manager Phil Neville was also in the side. Recently retired a few years ago. Tim Howard, Tony Hibbert, Leighton Baines, Sylvain Distin as well. Leon Osman, who's now retired a few years ago. Victor Anichebe. Just some of the names in that Everton side the last time Scott Carson kept a clean sheet in the Premier League. And up front for West Brom, the likes of Peter Odemwingie, Simon Cox, then Marc-Antoine Fortuné on the bench. On the bench, Chris Brunt was playing as well, Nicky Shorey in the West Bromwich Albion team on this day 10 years ago when he last kept a clean sheet. Scott Carson in the Premier League for West Bromwich Albion. The players are ready for kick-off at St James's Park, and we'll hand over now to your match commentator. It's Matt Iles for the first half here on the Commentary Hub.
Thank you very much, Russ. Well, there was certainly a mass relief for both these sides this week, as they both were celebrating, but for entirely very different reasons. For Newcastle, they, of course, after recording a shock win at the FA Cup finalist Leicester City last Friday, managed to confirm their survival after Fulham were beaten by Burnley on Monday, which meant the Magpies' survival was officially confirmed, courtesy of Burnley's win. For Manchester City, they were crowned champions on Tuesday following Man United's home defeat to Leicester, which meant they won their third title in 4 years and were able to pop the champagne and begin their celebrations. Let's just go through the two sides. Newcastle line up like this. One change to the side that beat Leicester City last Friday at the King Power Stadium. Martin Dubravka in goal. It's a back three of Emil Krafth, Federico Fernandez and Paul Dummett. Then they have the five of Jacob Murphy at right wing back, John Joe Shelvey, Joe Willock, who's been on absolute form since he arrived on loan from Arsenal, Miguel Almiron, and Matt Ritchie is at left wing back, as Joe Linton replaces Callum Wilson, who's injured and is done now for the season, as he partners Alain Saint-Maximin up front. Subs are Mark Gillespie, Jamal Lewis, Kieran Clark, Javi Manquillo is on the bench, Sean Longstaff, Matty Longstaff, Dwight Gale, Andy Carroll, and Jeff Hendrick for the Magpies, of course, wearing their usual black and white striped shirts with black shorts and black socks this evening at St James's Park for this one against the newly crowned champions, Manchester City. Kevin Friend is the man in the middle, wearing that bright yellow shirt, and the message couldn't be clearer as both sets of players and officials take the knee with the coaching staff. There is no room for racism of any capacity, as the fight is still loud and clear from everyone involved in the Premier League as we are about to get underway, but it is a delayed restart due to, on that side, Joe Willett being a little bit keen to go into Manchester City's half. Second attempt, and we are underway as John Joe Shelvey gets the ball. We'll just go through the Manchester City lineup quickly. 5 changes for them. They line up with Scott Carson in goal, Walker, Garcia, Nathan Ake and Joao Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, and the number 20, Bernardo, are the three in midfield with Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus, and Raheem Sterling. Carson in for Ederson, Walker in for Diaz, Garcia in for Laporte, Gundogan in for Mendy, Bernardo in for Aguero. The subs, Stefan, Diaz, Stones, Fernandinho, Foden, Also on there, Cole Palmer, the young man, Riyad Mahrez, and also there as well, Benjamin Mendy, along with the number 14 for Manchester City, Aymeric Laporte, as Manchester City have the ball here with Nathan Ake. And of course, this is the last time that both these sets of players will be playing in a behind closed door stadium. Both these sides will, for the final 2 Premier League matches, have spectators in. And of course, the move by the Premier League is one that means that fans of all of the 20 clubs will at least have one home game where they can re-attend football matches. And for some, it'll be the first time since March 2020 where they have had the luxury of going to a football match. And that in itself is a moment to behold. 90 seconds in at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 0. Here comes Raheem Sterling wearing the captain's armband. Goes on the outside of Kraft. Ball goes in. It is headed away by Miguel Almiron. Is Rodri. Now to Ferran Torres. Here's Bernardo. Torres has it once more. Bernardo gets it back. Good interchange between the pair of them. Bernardo gets the cross in from the right, looking into the Newcastle box, but it's cleared away by John Joe Shelvey as Manchester City have got a throw in, which Walker takes to Eric Garcia, playing his first game, incidentally, the Spaniard, since the 10th of February, in which he was playing for the Citizens against Swansea in the FA Cup 5th round, as Gundogan goes into the side of the number 23, Jacob Murphy, and it is a free kick to Newcastle inside their own half. So it will be taking the free kick. It will be Emil Kraft. He now goes to Murphy, looking to find Joe Linton, who's onside, goes on the outside of Ake, who has to follow him all the way and make a sliding challenge in his own penalty area and concede a corner very early on for Newcastle. But that was good play by Joe Linton. He looked like he might have just strayed offside originally from Murphy's pass on that right-hand side, but he managed to go one-on-one with Nathan Ake. And then, of course, as Ake was scrambling back, he made a well-timed sliding challenge to force a corner for Newcastle United. So potentially, Scott Carson might be forced into making a save just 3 minutes in. Matt Ritchie will take this corner from the right-hand side on that left foot of his. Swung in by him, away by Gabriel Jesus. There was no black and white shirt on the 6-yard box as he put that ball in by Almiron with the low cross. Rodri away. So Maximin floats it to the back post. Fernandez with the header back into play. He had a free header, to be fair. He drifted all the way out to the right-hand side of the box, but it was straight at Scott Carson, and it was easy for him to deal with under no pressure from a black and white shirt, of course, as Alan St-Maximin tries to put Eric Garcia under some considerable pressure, but Garcia manages to play his way out of danger there. Here is now Joao Cancelo, charged down well there by Jacob Murphy and the Swedish defender Emil Kraft, as they are able to come away with it. Almiron loses it to Rodri, goes into the side of Joe Willock. Here is now Willock as he gives it to Emil Kraft, but he's knocked it out of play for a Newcastle throw. And as the last touch was off a Manchester City player, well, of course, we did see last night Anthony Taylor have to go to the monitor and make a decision courtesy of VAR, which of course he overturned rightly to not allow Eric Bailly to be on the receiving end of giving away a penalty on Nat Phillips. Should that be the case tonight, the VAR intervening will be Darren England. Of course, the assistant will be Harry Leonard, who'll be keeping a close eye, helping him make the final decision should it not go to the monitor. And of course, Kevin Friend is assisted on the pitch by Simon Beck and Adrian Holmes, as Ferran Torres now plays it to Eric Garcia. Now to Bernardo Silva wearing that long sleeve shirt. He's playing in the middle of the three tonight. Alongside him, Rodri and Ilkay Gundogan, Manchester City's top goal scorer. There is Joao Cancelo. Better second season for the Portuguese fullback. Ake to Garcia. Now to Bernardo. Here's Walker. Manchester City in their usual stride of just keeping the ball early on. Here is now Nathan Ake. Space for him to bring the ball forward in the middle of. Here's Raheem Sterling. Goes on the inside on his right foot. Plays it on the foot of Bernardo's on the edge of the box. Comes a few yards back from there. Jesus now to Sterling, who's in the Newcastle box. Charging at him was Matt Ritchie. Good feet shown by Sterling. Lays it off to Rodri. He plays it left to Nathan Ake, who shoots. But it's a poor attempt by the Manchester City number 6. And it's gone well out of play and over Martin Dubravka's crossbar for a Newcastle goal kick. Well, it was good feet by Raheem Sterling. Rodri knew that he didn't really set the chance up for himself to shoot. And obviously he knew that he had a man to his left in Ake. He was about, we're talking maybe 15 yards out. It was a good position for him to have a shot from. And unfortunately for him, it was well off target and something that he won't be looking back on with a lot of envy, that's for sure. Kick taken by Martin Dubravka, looking for Joe Linton. It's gone off the Brazilian's head. Now to play for a Manchester City throw-in as Eric Garcia receives it from Nathan Ake. Plays it along the floor now to Joao Cancelo. Ake on it once more. Cancelo on it again. Plays it forward, looking for Jesus. Well over his head. Not the best header away by the Newcastle defence. And then Jesus took it on the edge of the box, on his chest. Then let it drop nicely for him to strike with his right foot. It was a very good attempt by the Brazilian. It was dipping, and he's only narrowly put that beyond the post. And that was a good opportunity for Manchester City, but Newcastle will be hoping that they don't present those sort of opportunities for the remainder of this match. Well, it was into Jesus. He took it beautifully on the chest, tried his luck. It was a spectacular effort, to be fair. When they come off, they look nice as Newcastle come forward here. Willock's crosses, blocked well by Nathan Ake, just got in front of the shot, and the resulting block sees the ball go into the hands of Scott Carson. And here is now Cancelo to Eric Garcia, who's seen a lot of the ball in the early exchanges here at St James's Park. Kyle Walker to Ferran Torres. Walker on it once more. Now to Joao Cancelo, who's dropped into that midfield, which he so often does, the Manchester City left back, as do all of Pep's fullbacks for that fact. One thing that he has added is a real key ingredient of their team, and that's why they have been so successful this season. One of the many reasons anyway. Here is Sterling. Good feet to give it to Ilkay Gundogan. He's really found his scoring touch this season. Into Torres. Bit of a wild pass into him. Then the return from Torres was a wild one as well to Gundogan. But then Matt Ritchie shields off Bernardo Silva as Newcastle get a throw-in, which the Scottish left-back will take. Gets a lot of power behind it. Gets a bit of a run-up as well, looking for Joe Linton. But Garcia's there to come across, read the game, and knock it back safely to his goalkeeper, Scott Carson, who's playing his first competitive match, actually, Scott Carson, since March 2019, in which he played for Derby in the Championship against Sheffield Wednesday. So he's been a long time coming, not just to play in the Premier League, which of course stretches back a decade from his last appearance, but in terms of actually playing in a competitive manner, as the clearance from the Newcastle player goes straight into Rich, who plays it calmly down the line along the floor. Almiron has been closed down quickly by Jesus, who went all the way from the striking position, all the way out to the right-hand side to go and close that down. Cancelo with the cross in. It's a high one. Looking for the run of Ferran Torres, who made it through the middle, but it was one that was over his head and easily gathered by Martin Dubravka. 10 minutes gone here at St James's Park. It is Newcastle 0, the newly crowned champions, Manchester City 0. And of course, it's a game you're listening to on the Commentary Hub. We've had a revamp ourselves, as we said on the top of the show. We hope you do like it. Of course, we've been a bit creative in the last few weeks. Of course, we're not just bringing you football commentary. We're trying to expand into other sports as well as what's coming up over the next few months. course, in what is exciting times for this channel. Of course, the football action we will be bringing you with the playoffs next week. We'll remind you of that as Ross Vernon's on the mic for Barnsley against Swansea at Oakwell. That, of course, kicks off at 8:15. I'll be on the mic for the Oxford and Blackpool first leg as Oxford entertain Blackpool at the Kassam Stadium, and then Nicholas Jones will be bringing you the match from Sincil Bank as Lincoln entertain Sunderland. And then on Thursday, League Two kicks off as I'll be on the mic as managerless Tranmere, who sat Keith Hill earlier this week, entertained Derek Adams Morecambe at Prenton Park. Here is Kyle Walker along the floor to Torres. Nice position to pick it up from in the middle. Here's Ilkay Gundogan, but it's a shot that's off target and is no bother for Martin Dubravka in the Newcastle goal, but it was well worked to set the chance up for Ilkay Gundogan. Torres gave it to the German Gundogan. He just brought it forward a couple of yards from the edge of the box. He did actually take the shot from inside the Newcastle box, but it was well wide of Martin Dubravka's goal. He tried to find the bottom corner, did Gundogan, but he was unsuccessful as Dubravka was not put under any danger whatsoever with that. Here is Cancelo. Now Gundogan on the ball. Ake now to Gundogan. Here's Rodri. It is so far what you'd expect from this one as Manchester City are controlling possession, yet to score. Newcastle very much just trying to maintain shape and just not allow the citizens to get any space or any manoeuvre or any room to get a shot from. Gundogan on the ball, plays it down the line to Gundogan, to Cancelo. Good ball, looking for Torres, who gets in there. But he tries on that right foot of his to just strike it goalwards. But unfortunately for himself and his team, he's off target with it. But it was lovely play between Gundogan and Cancelo as it was the low cross from Cancelo that found Ferran Torres, who's not been that bad in terms of the scoring stats this season. But he was unable to put that one in the back of the net. As Torres has found the back of the net on 10 occasions this season. And of course, scored in the 2-0 win at Crystal Palace on the 1st of May at Selhurst Park in that 2-0 win. Header on by Walker, goes to Jesus as he tries to give it back to Walker. He's forced to go off the pitch as he takes a tumble. Dubravka with the kick, looking for Joe Linton. Goes into the side of Walker, but did very, very well to just stop Walker from winning the header. Manchester City win it back so easily and win it back very, very quickly, more importantly. Here is Rodri in the middle now to Raheem Sterling, who's come a long way to receive it. Gundogan now to Cancelo, who's allowed a lot of space down the left to attack in. High cross in, looking for Sterling, who tries to out-jump Fernandes. But it was actually Paul Dummett who got that away. Just had to get something on it, did Paul Dummett, and he did exactly that. His side have got a throw in to deal with in a very dangerous position as Gundogan receives it from Cancelo. First quarter of an hour played here at the home of Newcastle United. It's at James's Park. It is Newcastle 0, Manchester City 0, with the champions going close on a couple of occasions. Jesus and Ferran Torres with their closest attempts so far, as Newcastle have been very defensive and been very much inside their own half since the word go, if you like, with Manchester City doing all the attacking and doing all the running. And then the ball forward by Murphy has gone straight back to Scott Carson, who gives it to Eric Garcia. Rodri is the man who he finds along the floor. Well, Newcastle aren't really going after Manchester City. Of course, so many sides do often try to make life hard for City. But one thing that's been so good about them this season is that no matter though that sides do sit back and try to contain them, they always find a way through. That's what they are just so good at. They never panic. They're just so patient. And they know that that chance will come to them. The amount of players they've got in this team that know how to put the ball in the back of the net is quite frankly frightening. As Bernardo Silva now receives it. Ferran Torres has gone out to the right-hand side to get it. He brings it in field. Now plays it with his left foot to Joao Cancelo. Here's Raheem Sterling on the outside of Murphy, then checks back. Goes through the legs of Murphy, but it's, well, stuck out a leg there by the Swedish defender, Emil Kraft. And in the clearance, looking for Joe Linton, sees Nathan Ake head that away. Well, Raheem Sterling received the ball. He went on the outside of Murphy, then came back on the inside, and then he just turned his body inside the Newcastle box, looking for the low cross, nutmeg Murphy, but Kraft was there in the right place to just hack that clear. And Newcastle passed that test on that occasion with flying colours. Hello to Kyle Walker. And as you can tell by the commentary so far, Manchester City have been the ones completely dominant with the ball at their feet. As Bernardo now goes to Eric Garcia. Jesus now to Raheem Sterling. Looking to take on Murphy. Murphy does well there to stand up and not allow Sterling to bring it in the box. And more importantly, not foul him, but his clearance is a poor one as he clears it straight to Joao Cancelo. Ferran Torres clips it forward, but it's one that he's got too much power underneath from. Too much for Sterling. Out of play for a Newcastle goal kick. Well, of course, for Manchester City, they have secured the second part of a potential treble, with the league being wrapped up on Tuesday, courtesy of Manchester United's defeat. Of course, what they really want to be is the Kings of Europe, to go alongside being the Kings of England. Pep Guardiola is somebody who knows the task in hand. He arrived 5 years ago with the premise of delivering the Champions League. So far, prior to this season, it's seen his side fail at the quarter-final stage in 2018 and 2019 in the two previous years. And of course, in 2020 as well, they failed at the quarter-final stage, losing to Lyon in Lisbon in the Champions League finals, of course, which was only one leg back then. And then, of course, this year they have gone all the way to the final, with them once again travelling to Portugal to try and win club football's greatest prize against the Chelsea side, who have beaten them under Thomas Tuchel twice in a matter of just around about a month. As Kyle Walker gets it, gives it to Bernardo, now to Rodri, now out to Nathan Ake, as Manchester City's defence is all inside Newcastle's half, which just shows how deep Newcastle are playing as a midfield in particular in terms of defending, but they've got a rather high defensive line. Now Sterling, Joao Cancelo, Jesus now to Nathan Ake. I think every Manchester City player wants to have a touch of the ball in this attack, outfield-wise anyway. Here is Sterling out on that left, short to Cancelo, chips it forward looking for Gundogan, heads it down looking for Cancelo. Shelby with the clearance. He goes down wanting a free kick. Kevin Friend says no. That's a lovely ball by Sterling to Cancelo. Sterling gets it back. Gundogan has his back to Dubravka as he tried to lay it on the edge of the box. But then Manchester City win it back with Cancelo, gets in the way of Willock, who can't clear it away. It's Jesus. Now Rodri, Gundogan got his feet in a bit of a tangle there as he hit the ball against his left knee with his right foot. Newcastle really struggling to get out as they're just being forced to camp in and keep it tight. Torres to Gundogan. Torres, it's just an exercise of just keeping it, soaking it up for Newcastle, just not letting the opposition know your weakness. Gundogan now goes to the left with Cancelo. He gets the shot away. It's on target, but it's a standard stop for Martin Dubravka, who got his angles covered and was positioned well there. And an A grade for that save for Martin Dubravka. They're eventually always going to get the shot away, Manchester City, aren't they? It was played up to the left from Cancelo. It's just that one pass where they just find the space. It was Gundogan that played it. Really good ball. And obviously, Cancelo got the shot away on his right foot. Dubravka had to be alert and almost had to guess where he was going to put it. And where he did intend to put it, he was there to save. So Maximan to Willett looking for Joe Linton. It went beyond Garcia and beyond Joe Linton. Joe Linton, of course, made the run forward, before Willock had made the pass. It went a few yards behind him. It almost seemed like the ball had intended to stop in slow motion there as Manchester City looked to counter here with Ferran Torres as he takes on Paul Dummett, who of course scored one of the goals in their win at the King Power Stadium last Friday, which secured their safety, if you like. Here's Raheem Sterling taking on Murphy. He's been playing in that left-hand position most of the night, in by Cancelo. Dubravka and Fernandez were both competing for that cross. Fernandez got it away, but they're both just sort of having a word with each other to say, where was the shout from either one? Silva with the ball forward, looking for Gundogan, tries to turn Fernandez, who stands up well. As Newcastle clear it away. Jesus to Rodri, now to Cancelo, who's about sort of 25 yards away from Newcastle's goal. Sterling to Cancelo once more. Sterling's made the run through beyond Jacob Murphy, and the cross goes in. It bounces off Emil Kraft, and Manchester City have got a corner. 22 minutes played. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 0, and it has all been the visitors in this one. As the replay showed potential handball on Federico Fernandez. The Argentine could do nothing to get out of the way of that. Ball just sort of came at him, and he didn't have a lot of time to move or put his arms behind him or even down to his side for that fact. And of course, Kevin Friend didn't see it at first, and the VAR doesn't need to intervene as Manchester City have got a corner on this right-hand side, which is taken short by Gundogan to Bernardo. Cancelo to Gundogan. Gundogan does get the cross in, not a bad delivery. Jacob Murphy heads it behind for another Manchester City corner, this time from the right-hand side. Of course, Manchester City have scored a few goals from set pieces. The man who's been good from the back in those situations has been John Stones. He's back on the bench tonight due to missing the last 3 Premier League games due to suspension. So he's back in the fold tonight, or the last 3 games, of course, including the League Cup final 19 days ago. It's going to be Gundogan to take this corner. Bernardo was the short option on the last one. He is just going to whip this straight in as the German. He does send it to the edge of the box. It goes to Cancelo. He then plays it to Walker. Now up to Bernardo as they go from the area when they did take it from just a few minutes ago. Bernardo crosses in on his left. It's gone off Willock. Rodri with the touch ahead of Shelvey as it goes to Cancelo. And Manchester City didn't plan that corner as well as they were hoping it was going to be executed from, as Sterling tries to slip it through to Nathan Ake. And he's cleared up the pitch for Alan St. Maximin to chase, which the Newcastle number 10 has done. He's found Joe Linton. What a counter-attack. This would be Joe Linton shoots. Good block by Kyle Walker, who's took one right into the midriff as he just sort of goes on his hands and knees. As he certainly felt that there, but with just one long ball forward, Newcastle were in there, and it was a good ball to Alan St. Maximin. Looked up and played it to the left of Joe Linton. He did everything right. Went on his left foot. Kyle Walker knew exactly what the Brazilian was trying to do and where he was trying to go. It was a good block by him as he took one in the private. And of course, if you do see that at home, any sort of knock in that region, it does make you wince. As Newcastle have another corner. It's their first one down this left-hand side. Shelvey takes with that right foot of his, delivers it in, swings it in, and Newcastle have got the lead, and it's Emil Kraft who scores with their very first attempt of the game. Newcastle in front. Scott Carson's beaten, and the Magpies lead the newly crowned Premier League champions by 1-0 at St James's Park. Well, it was a really good ball in by John Joe Shelvey. Put a lot of whip on it. The pace was off. He got into the right area, and Emil Kraft didn't really have to move. It was already on his head. He got in front of Nathan Ake, got in between him and Joao Cancelo. It's a really good header at goal. It was away from Scott Carson, who was diving and trying his best to save it, but he could do nothing to keep it out. And Newcastle have got an unlikely lead against Manchester City, and it's come from an unlikely goal scoring Emil Kraft himself. And set pieces worked at Leicester last Friday night, and they're working tonight as they take the lead as Maximan tries to get it from that pass from his fellow teammate, but Walker's in front of it to win a thrown through his side. As you are just tuning into our new name, the Commentary Hub, it is Newcastle 1, Manchester City 0, with Emil Kraft scoring after 25 minutes. Here is now Ferran Torres. Gets it from Walker. Torres gets it back. Now it's with Eric Garcia on the ball. Tries to play it to Gundogan. Cut out well by Murphy, but Rodri's on it in a flash. Here's Sterling attacking the corner of the left-hand box. Goes on the outside of Murphy. It's another good sliding challenge by the former Norwich man as he just takes a touch, then sends it forward looking for St. Maximan. But it has trickled out of play for a throw, even though the ball did actually land back in field from that clearance by Jacob Murphy, who of course began his career as a right winger, but Steve Bruce has improved his game so much so that he's been used as a right wing back in the 5 that Newcastle have used recently, and is actually thriving in that position, as well as playing as a right back throughout the campaign. So Maximan tries to turn and swivel in the middle of the pitch, but he's lost the ball as City come away with it, with Rodri short to Joao Cancelo. Gundogan with the little knock, looking for Walker. It's gone well beyond him. Bernardo now picks up on that loose ball, luckily for Gundogan and Walker. Here is now Cancelo to Nathan Ake. Garcia, Kyle Walker on the ball. Out to the right with the Spaniard Torres once more. Now Walker again. Out to the left with Cancelo. They do like to go from right to left through Manchester City on a lot of occasions. It's been very much what they've looked to try to do tonight in order to try and hurt Newcastle, as they have done on a few occasions. Joe Linton was unlucky not to keep that in. Nathan Ake was right behind him and making sure that the Brazilian didn't get out of the situation that he was in on that left-hand touchline. Here is now Kyle Walker for Manchester City. Torres again. Now Walker to Bernardo Silva, looking for Gundogan. Header was not the best by Shelvey. Jesus took it under control. The goal scorer Kraft just hacks it away as he got a vital touch to it. It's gone to Sterling, who tried to give it to Cancelo, but it was too short a ball, which Joe Willock steals and has brought it forward quite a long way, so much so he's into the Manchester City half. Looks for Joe Linton. It was beyond him. He almost rang alongside him rather than away from him there, as the ball was well beyond him. And to make it worse for Joe Linton, he slipped over the Newcastle number 9. Bernardo Silva to Torres. Rodri to Ilkay Gundogan. Sterling loses out. Willock with a really good challenge. Good defensive play by the Arsenal loanee. Now it's Jesus. He tries to cross it in. Shelvey blocked it, but with an arm. As Kevin Friend says, no handball and no free kick. And then the clearance goes straight to Ake, knocks it back to Scott Carson. Here is Rodri on it again. Now to Kyle Walker. Gundogan. Short to Bernardo Silva. Newcastle really standing firm against what Manchester City are throwing at them. Their defensive rear guard is strong, as Ferran Torres is fouled by Miguel Almiron, who just couldn't resist the lure of going in with his feet on the ground. Free kick given away, as half an hour's now played at St James's Park, with Newcastle 1-0 up against Manchester City, courtesy of that Emil Kraft goal. And the referee, Kevin Friend, has decided to not book Miguel Almiron, instead just be lenient with him. Well, he's awarded 3 red cards this season. 2 of them have happened on this ground. He sent Yves Bissouma off in Newcastle's first home game of the season back in September, and he sent off Craig Dawson just under 3 weeks ago in the just under a month ago, I should say, in the Premier League when Newcastle won 3-2. Here's this free kick going to come up now for Manchester City. Gundogan and Bernardo both around it. There's 4 Newcastle players in the wall. It's going to be Gundogan who goes low, tries to catch Dubravka out. Dubravka says, I knew what you were doing, and holds it in his grasp. And in the end, Gundogan couldn't make that free kick work. When he went around the wall, St. Maximan was the outside man of the ball on that right-hand side. Gundogan took it, went around it. He almost just passed it straight to Dubravka. You never intend to put a lot of power and pace on that. It's just a case of actually trying to catch the keeper out. Here is Sterling now to Ilkay Gundogan, who is actually Manchester City's top goal scorer with 16 goals. But the goals have been really spread out this season as Sterling's hit 14, Foden 14, Mahrez 14, Jesus 13, Foden has got himself on the score sheet 14 times as mentioned. Torres has got 10, De Bruyne 9. De Bruyne missing tonight with a muscle injury as City look to attack again. Clip ball forward by Cancelo. Jesus gets up and heads it against Fernandes and wins a corner. Kevin Friend had a bit of a think about that and has concluded that the Argentine Fernandes did get the last touch on that. When it was a cross in the middle, Jesus had his back to Fernandes and Dubravka. He would have tried to head it over Fernandes' head and more importantly over Dubravka's head, but it was good defending by Fernandes just to stand behind it and not allow it to get toward Dubravka's goal. In by Gundogan. Good header away there by Paul Dummett as Rodri has stayed down. Here's Miguel Almiron. They're going to take on Kyle Walker. Goes away from him. Now Willock's made the run forward. He's the only black and white shirt ahead of him. The Paraguayan goes alone and Nathan Ake fouls him and Miguel Almiron does really, really well there. He carried it a long, long way. Did the Newcastle midfielders. A good driving run right through the heart of the Manchester City midfield, which of course was all up for that corner kick, which came to nothing. And Nathan Ake was obviously coming back, had to make the foul he felt and has given away a free kick. But moments before that, there is shouts of a penalty as Dummett gets up above Rodri, who's down. There's an arm in the face as Rodri's receiving treatment for facial/head injury as he just has some sort of wet paper towel or just a sort of cleaning device over his face as the two physios tend to his needs. But Miguel Almiron, who's been really quiet in this game, barely even stepped forward in the Manchester City half, showed his attacking quality there with that driving run, which we have seen him do in his 2 and a bit years at St James's Park. And it's now Newcastle's turn to have a free kick. It's Jonjo Shelvey who's going to take it. He's got an assist for Emil Kraft's goal. Matt Ritchie's also around it. As Manchester City have got 4 in the wall with Bernardo as the man lying down in there. If they are to go low and the wall jumps, it won't go anywhere with Bernardo Silva there. Big moment potential in the game. Shelvey he gets the height, and he's hit the crossbar. So unlucky by Jonjo Shelvey. Scott Carson was beaten, but the crossbar has saved him and his team from going 2-0 down. And we know Jonjo Shelvey is very capable of hitting a free kick and causing a problem toward the goalkeeper. And he was so close there as Manchester City have it in play with Jesus. Gets away from Rich, who just hugs him and wrestles him to the ground. And that's an easy free kick for Kevin Friend to give. And it's a yellow card also for Matt Ritchie, who cynically fouled Jesus, who went on the outside of him, beat him for pace, and then he just wrestled him to the ground as Walker gives it to Eric Garcia. 9.5 minutes of the first half remaining. Newcastle 1, Manchester City 0 in a game you're listening to on the Commentary Hub, our new name, which has changed from Football Commentary Live. Of course, our Twitter does still say the name, still remains the same, I should say, at Commentary Live 1. Of course, it is capital C and then capital L, and then, of course, the number 1 right at the end of it, all one thing. And then you can go to our Facebook page. You go to facebook.com/commentary hub, our new name, which, of course, was originally facebook.com/football commentary live, which I was about to say before I was reminded of the change. Here is Alan St. Maximin. Does well to hold off 3 Manchester City players. He loves to have the ball at his feet. He almost just has it super glued at times, doesn't he? He's such a hard man to win the ball off. He's such an expert dribbler as the Newcastle number 10, who's got a real army of supporters, isn't he? He's very vocal on social media, doesn't mind engaging in a bit of banter with not just his own team's fans, but opposition fans. Of course, somebody who's almost created a trademark, you could say, in the Premier League with that headband of his covering those dreads and the haircut that he dons. It's a haircut that I personally wouldn't choose out of preference, but certainly does suit him, as Bernardo Silva now has it from that pass he's received in the middle. Jesus, who's gone out to the right. Bernardo Silva has it once more. He's probably going to go onto his left. Instead, he plays it with his right foot to Jesus. He's still on that right-hand side. Jesus plays into the middle now to Bernardo Silva. Cancelo to Sterling, attacking the right-hand side, and Jacob Murphy. Sterling's cross has got a nick off a Newcastle defender as they were trying to close him down. It is cleared away just about by Newcastle. Manchester City won't go quietly as they come forward again. Rodri slides it through to Torres, who tries to go to Nathan Ake, a long way away from goal, which has still seen Manchester City keep the ball. Ake to Joao Cancelo. Raheem Sterling taking on Murphy. Stood up to that challenge well, as Jacob Murphy has done tonight in this first half. Sterling to Cancelo. Gundogan receives it from the left. Good cross in. Torres into Rodri. Decides against shooting. Dribbles it a couple of yards in the box. Knocks it to Cancelo. Drills it. And it's gone all the way in. Manchester City level. Joao Cancelo with a real pile driver that went through a sea of black and white shirts. Martin Dubravka just saw it flash beyond him to his left. And it's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1, and the champions have responded. Yeah, Torres goes into Rodri, does really well to just keep the ball at his feet and just lay it on a plate to a fellow player. It comes to Cancelo's shoot. It's took a deflection off of Jacob Murphy, who goes down to charge the shot. He gets a hint of good fortune with the deflection, canning in off the back of his calf and into the back of the net. Dubravka just sees it a bit too late for me. It's tossed and turned. It's gone all over the place. And luckily, Cancelo's shot, which deflected, has gone in beyond Dubravka and into the net. And it's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1. Big goal in the game. Joao Cancelo, with only his second Premier League goal, has levelled the scoreline as Newcastle come forward with Almiron. Looking for Joe Linton. St. Maximin's there. Couldn't get away and bring it into the box in a real good position for his team to get a shot away from, as Manchester City are able to defend it well, as Carlson gives it to Nathan Ake. Now it is with Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. Now Bernardo to Ferran Torres. Kyle Walker. Bernardo again. First time back to Kyle Walker, who's received it once more. Along the floor to Eric Garcia. Now to the goal scorer for Manchester City, Joao Cancelo. Last 5 minutes of the first half remaining at St James's Park. It is Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1 on a game you're listening to on the Commentary Hub. Of course, we've got more games to bring you next week as the playoffs in the EFL begin. It's the Championship that kicks us off. Ross Vernon bringing you Barnsley against Swansea with kickoff at 8:15 from the match at Oakwell. Here's Sterling as he gives it to Nathan Ake. He continues the attack And then Cancelo is fouled by Murphy. Free kick to Manchester City. Well, there's more games to bring you, as I said. Ross Vernon on the mic for that, as I just reminded you. Blackpool, Oxford from the Kassam will be covered by me on commentary. And then Nicholas Jones will be bringing you Lincoln against Sunderland from Sincil Bank, or the LNER Stadium, as it is known to now as sponsorship reasons. And then Thursday, League Two kicks off with Tranmere facing Morecambe. To this game, however, though, it is a free kick to Manchester City with Gundogan taking it. He whips it in low. It stands up well, and it's touched in by Ferran Torres. And Manchester City have now got the lead. And it was an audacious finish by Torres, which has come off an absolute treat. Ball was low. It was whipped in well. It had a lot of pace on it. Torres has diverted it in beyond Martin Dubravka. It's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 2 at St James's Park. Brilliant free kick by Gundogan. It was low. It had power, and it beats the black and white shirts in there. And Ferran Torres, that is an outstanding finish. To just turn your foot into it. He's not actually fully sort of back-heeled it. It's almost just gone off the back of his ankle and into the net. He's called it so well. The connection is absolutely sensational. And for him to even contemplate trying that in that split second is absolutely fantastic. Well, they are checking for a possible offside, as Jesus Garcia and Ferran Torres were both potentially in an offside position. Jesus is offside as the lines are being drawn on the VAR. So this wonderful goal might get took off here. The VAR has checked it. It has seen that Torres is onside. His hand is just about level with the last defender, and the goal does stand. Luckily for him and luckily for his team, because they are now 2-1 up in this one at St James's Park. And what an absolutely outrageous finish it was by the Spaniard, and the confidence that is flowing through his veins and his team's veins is absolutely phenomenal. And that is his 11th goal of the season, and with it, it is back-to-back away games that he has managed to score in the Premier League, as Rodri goes into the back of Joe Willock. Kevin Friend has issued the first yellow card for a Manchester City player, and that's gone to the Spaniard Rodri, who tried to win it off Willock, who turned him, and then he just had his arms around him and did pull him to the ground. Easy spot for the referee to make on this occasion. As Newcastle will now have a free kick from a very deep position. They've got to make sure they get their foot underneath this. Shelvey whips it in. It doesn't really travel anywhere, as on the edge of the box. There to head it away was Eric Garcia. Matt Ritchie with the crossing. Not a bad ball in this time. Joe Linton attacks, but he's well off cue with that header. And that's the first sighting of goal that he's had tonight. And it's one that has gone well and truly over Scott Carson's crossbar. Well, Ritchie puts it to a really good position. It's right sort of on the penalty spot for Joe Linton to attack in. He gets up, he tries to turn it. The technique and the way he's gone about it is the right thing to do. But unfortunately, it's just sort of bounced off his head, too much on it, and is elevated over the crossbar. Well, the manager of the month curse, you could say, is striking. Of course, it is well known, whoever the recipient of the award is, they do tend to lose their next game in charge. Fortunately for Steve Bruce, he welcomes the newly crowned champions of England once more to St James's Park, in which his side have defended, you could say, astutely at times and quite admirably. But unfortunately, Manchester City's quality has shone through, which has been a real hallmark, as well as a lot of other things, as to why they are champions of this league for the third time in 4 years. As we will now know how much stoppage time we will have. Lee Mason has confirmed that it is 3 additional minutes. I think that stoppage to Rodri has played a part. Of course, he went down under the arm of that challenge from that Manchester City free kick about sort of 10, 15 minutes ago, as Manchester City just playing a game of keep ball as they wind the clock down in the final few minutes of this first half. Jesus here tries to roll it through to Cancelo. It's gone to Sterling via a Newcastle foot. Bernardo Silva to Torres. He drills it in first time. Matt Ritchie turns his body into it and has conceded a throw. A good defending by Ritchie just to get in the way of the cross. That's what you've got to do there. Just make sure it doesn't reach the Newcastle centre-backs or even try and find a blue shirt. He did well there to close that down. Kyle Walker will take the throw in. Long throw to the edge of the box to Gundogan, who half volleys it out to the left with Cancelo. Goes into the box. Away from Murphy. Has he done a little bit too much? Does get the cross in. It's well blocked by Emil Kraft as Newcastle try and come away with it. That is an expertly timed challenge by Joao Cancelo, the Portuguese fullback, as Sterling gives it to Rodri. We are 75 seconds into stoppage time. Newcastle 1, Manchester City 2. And of course, we've still got another 90 plus seconds of it remaining. Here is Ferran Torres to Eric Garcia. Now Nathan Ake on the ball. Here is Cancelo, Sterling, Ake. Newcastle really can't afford to go and concede a third right on halftime. It would be so damaging for their morale and mood going into the halftime break. Here's Nathan Ake. In the middle now to Jesus. Sterling's the obvious choice forward. Doesn't see him, Jesus. Instead, rolls it to Cancelo, who's alongside him. Jesus gets it back. He's about 20 yards out. Can he get the shot away? Decides to pop it into Gundogan, who gets it back from Sterling. City patient here. Cross goes in again. Matt Ritchie with the header away. Can only head it out straight to Gundogan. Rodri pokes it through to Bernardo, but it's cut out well by Almiron. He gets it from Joe Linton through to St. Maximan, who's onside. We know he's got the pace. He's checked back. Now he lays it off to Joe Linton. Good feet shown by the Brazilian, who slips over. And Kevin Friend has given an offside in that. The referee, well, St. Maximan did very, very well to make that run. And it was a really good run by him. VAR is actually checking whether or not St. Maximan was offside. He looks onside to me. There, he turned his back, then just waited for the support to come. He then laid it off to Joe Linton. Now they're checking for a possible foul, as it looks like Ake has not actually won any of the ball. He's actually took Joe Linton's foot. Of course, the VAR is Darren England tonight. So will he refer Kevin Friend to look at the monitor? There is contact from Ake. You do have to say that is a penalty. Of course, Ake has slid in before Joe Linton's turned back in to try and get away from him on the inside. So it is a big decision. It is a lengthy delay, as we are well over the 3 additional minutes of stoppage time. And this is where VAR does really annoy supporters. It's, just where it does take its time. It is checking, first of all, whether St. Maximan's onside. It was a lovely ball through by Almiron. He is onside. Nathan Ake is playing him on. It's his right arm that is doing so. So there is no debate about that. It is now whether or not the official at Stockley Park, Darren England, and his assistant, Harry Leonard, think that Ake has fouled Joe Linton. Steve Bruce is having a word with Lee Mason, probably moaning about VAR to some extent. They've got to make sure they get this right. And so Maximan comes forward with it. He then just delays it, then plays it to Joe Linton, who arrives, gets away from Cancelo, does really well to show good quick feet, and then Ake goes into him. This, for me, is a penalty. Kevin Friend raises a smile with Scott Carson. It is a waiting game for him and those players on the pitch and the fans at home and everybody inside this stadium. Kevin Friend has pointed to the penalty spot. Newcastle have got a penalty, rightly given. He took his time over it, Kevin Friend. Darren England said it was a penalty. Kevin Friend didn't need to look at the monitor, and Joe Linton did so well to win it. And of course, we saw a penalty get overturned and not be given last night in the Man United-Liverpool game. We've seen it be given on this occasion by Kevin Friend. And it's Joe Linton, the man who won the penalty, is going to take it. Can the Brazilian beat Scott Carson? What a big moment this is for Newcastle. And in the game, in what is going to probably be the last kick of this first half. Up steps Joe Linton, who just has a little stagger jog and scores. There's your response from Joe Linton. A really well struck penalty. He puts it just too high of Scott Carson, who dived the right way. He dived to his right, but couldn't keep it out. And it's Newcastle's turn to reply with an equaliser. Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2. He puts it right in the corner. No goalkeeper in the world is going to save that. And you do often hear that from penalties, but I really do mean it with that. Right in the corner from Joe Linton. Really, really good penalty. 2-2. It's his third Premier League goal in 7 games. And the man who has divided so much opinion and got some criticism, maybe unwarranted at times, by his own supporters, is on the scoring front for his side to make it 2-2 in a game they've largely been dominated in. As Nathan Ake gives it to centre-back partner Eric Garcia. We will be playing a little bit more of this first half, but how much of it remains to be seen as Gundogan tries to attack it. It's gone beyond him. It's good defensive play by Emil Kraft, and I think that might be it for the first half. We are into the 7th minute of additional time, and that is now the whistle. Well, Newcastle scored inside 25 minutes with Emil Kraft scoring from a John Joe Shelvey delivery into the box from a corner that made them go 1-0 up against the champions. They responded in the 39th minute with João Cancelo's powerful low drive, taking a nick off Jacob Murphy and beating Martin Dubravka. Then a few minutes later, Ferran Torres scored via a spectacular flick from a Ilkay Gundogan free kick. That made it 2-1 with VAR checking if he was onside. And he was onside after the check at Stockley Park. And then VAR had to step in and help Kevin Friend give a penalty for Newcastle. And Joe Linton, who of course was fouled by Nathan Ake, and he did the business from 12 yards. It is half time. It is Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2.
Yes, Manchester City 2 at half time with Newcastle thanks to a late penalty in the 6th minute of added on time from Joe Linton after a very good, well taken penalty, and it was a correct call from the referee Kevin Friend, the referee. This VAR down in England did well to also give that penalty kick. We've got some great commentaries coming up over the next few weeks, which will let you know what that is in a few moments' time. Newcastle take on Man City. That's 2-2 at half time in your featured match here on the commentary hub. In the Irish Premier, Glenavon are beating Warren Point Town by 2-0. In the Australian A-League earlier today, Macarthur FC beat Melbourne Victory by 3-1. In the Portuguese Premier Liga, it finished Pacos de Ferreira 0, Gil Vicente 2, Sporting Braga against Moreirense to kick off at 9:15. So as soon as the second half gets underway in that one, the first half in the Sporting Braga game gets underway. So we'll not fetch you how they're getting on at half time at the conclusion of our featured match today. In the United States, in the Major League Soccer, in the early hours of this morning, DC United beat Chicago Fire by 1-0 in that one, and we've got some more great football coming up for you here on the commentary hub. More great commentaries coming up for you as well. But before we tell you what we've got coming up tomorrow, what I can tell you is that David Luiz will leave Arsenal at the end of this season. The Brazilian centre-back, 34-year-old, met with club officials on Friday when it decided to sever his ties after 2 years at the Emirates. Luiz made 30 appearances in all competitions this season, but the Gunners feel they need to look towards their future after a torrid campaign. It's unknown whether the former PSG and Chelsea defender intends to remain in England. Luiz, who joined Arsenal from London rivals Chelsea for $8 million in August 2019, has missed the last 3 games with an hamstring injury. Mikel Arteta's side are currently 9th in the Premier League table this evening. And this season they are 5 points above our Leeds, a point behind Everton and Tottenham, and just 3 points behind West Ham United. Speaking of United, and Manchester United have confirmed this evening that their midfielder Fred was racially abused on Instagram after his side's defeat by Liverpool on Thursday evening. Instagram has removed a number of offending comments from the Brazilian's profile and disabled some people's account. The racist abuse on Fred's post is unacceptable and we do not want that on Instagram, said a spokesperson for Facebook, which owns Instagram. Earlier this season, Fred highlighted a similar abuse he received, saying we cannot feel that culture of racism. The abuse of the 28-year-old was subjected to on Thursday came less than 2 weeks after English football and us here at the Commentary Hub took part in a 4-day social media boycott in an attempt to tackle such discrimination. So big news there regarding that one. Regarding Fred this evening, which we will we'll try and get Matt's thoughts on that in a few moments. But in women's football, Fran Kirby has scooped the FWA Player of the Year award for a second time. Chelsea and England forward Fran Kirby has been voted Football Writers Association's Women's Footballer of the Year for the second time in her career. Kirby has scored 25 goals in all competitions this season to help Chelsea retain the Women's Super League title and win the League Cup. Kirby said, "You never get to win these awards without the players you play with and the staff you work with." The 27-year-old also won the inaugural award in 2018. Kirby could add another trophy to her collection this season when Chelsea face Barcelona in Sunday's Women's Champions League final in Gothenburg. She was the unanimous choice for the FWA award from a panel of more than 30 football writers who specialise in the women's game. So big congratulations to Fran Kirby. Fran Kirby, fantastic stuff there. Also, when we've got the Euros coverage this summer, we'll hopefully be able to bring you some Copa America after the fixtures were released today. The fixtures list is the group stage for the Copa America. In Group A, it's Argentina, Bolivia, Uruguay, Chile, and Paraguay. And in Group B, Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Peru. So we'll aim to bring you some of those matches alongside our coverage from the European Championships this summer. Now, what I will do, I'll fetch Matt back in a moment, and Matt What did you make? What have you made to this time? I'm not sure if you heard me mention the source. So I'll just run you. So I'll just go through a bit of it again. Manchester United midfielder Fred was racially abused on Instagram after his side defeat by Liverpool on Thursday. Instagram has removed a number of offending comments from the Brazilian's profile and disabled some accounts. The racist abuse on Fred's post is unacceptable and we do not want it on Instagram, a spokesperson for Facebook said, which also owns Instagram. Earlier this season, Fred highlighted similar abuse he received, saying we cannot feel that culture of racism. The abuse of the 28-year-old was subjected to on Thursday came less than 2 weeks after English football took part in a 4-day social media boycott in an attempt to tackle such discrimination. And remember that social media boycott, which we all took part in here on the commentary up as well, Martin, is still happening in the game. I feel even if we boycott it for the entirety of the summer, when they come back, it's still going to happen again. But somewhere down the line, it needs to be stopped, and I'm not sure how we can stop this. To be honest with you, Matt, what do you make to the news I've just read out there? And what do you think is the best way to stop it all from happening? We cannot hear Matt at the moment. We'll try and.
Sorry, I was just saying that obviously, I was part of the. We were part of the blackout on the commentary hub, and obviously we did a game on a various site. I think it was on YouTube, wasn't it? During the whole blackout. So, and I said, during that this unfortunately won't change. And I'm not trying to say that I'm psychic or a clairvoyant in any way, but it's unfortunately a sad reality that it's still going on. We're seeing the Premier League, the EFL, and all the levels take the knee to try and stop racism from happening, and to try and tackle and be have equality. But the message isn't loud enough. There's still people out there that are using this disgusting, language that should have no place, not just in football or society. It's just so wrong, and we need the authorities to be stronger. They need, Instagram and Twitter, they ban accounts, but there's so many millions of accounts that it's just seemingly impossible to fully combat it. And that's what the real sad reality is about it. And unfortunately, it's just one person out of a large, massive group has just ultimately been horrible and said discriminatory things and disgusting things against a certain individual for the colour of their skin. It is absolutely disgraceful.
Indeed, Matt, indeed. And looking back on that first half, man, what have you made to the first half? Because for me, Newcastle have more than yes, they've been dominated for large parts of that first half, but they've get a good account of themselves and get as good as they've gotten. For me, they deserve their 2 goals, which they've got this evening.
Yeah, I think it's been quite a strange game, isn't it? Newcastle for me somehow have got two against the champions, and it's been a game where they've been dominated from the very start. Obviously, we're not talking about Newcastle being the first side to be completely dominated, because a lot of sides have felt that with Manchester City playing against them. But they've defended well. They've stood firm. They've been astute. They've been organised. This is what Steve Bruce is all about. And sometimes, whilst you can say that it is very defensive, very pragmatic football, and a lot of the time, tonight you've got to give him credit and the players in that first half for the way they defended and how they tactically approached it. They've hit Man City on the break twice. Well, they obviously got the corner, which they had to get right, and they obviously did. Then they hit them on the break the second time, and Joe Linton won the penalty, and it was really good, smart play. And that's what you want in the counter attack. Alain Saint-Maximin sets the chance up, and away they go. So they've been smart. They've been very on the back foot. But the one thing you can say is, yes, City have scored 2, but there hasn't been a catalogue of chances that the Bravkas had to save. And I think you've got to give Newcastle a bit of credit. We don't often like to see, defensive football get praised, but, this is what Newcastle are about majority of the time. And tonight they're showing it. And, fair play to them. And it's just the hope is now for the supporters at home and, for the players and the staff in the stadium that they can carry on for the next 45 minutes.
Yes, let's hope. Let's hope Newcastle can continue for the next 45 minutes from a neutral's perspective, and also from a Newcastle standpoint as well, from a fan standpoint as well, especially for one of our commentators on the channel, Jack Cunningham, who is a big Newcastle United fan. Hopefully, he's enjoying the commentary if he's tuned in and enjoying. And hopefully he likes the revamp as well, which we have done. Here we're now known as the Commentary Hub. We was known as Football Commentary Live up until this afternoon when the name change came into fruition. And looking forward to bringing you some great coverage over the next few days. As we mentioned, tomorrow, we've got the playoff matches from the Championship, League One and League Two this week. But the only one which looks like we probably will not be covering is the match between Bournemouth and Brentford at 6 o'clock on Monday. But we'll try and cover the rest of those. But before we cover the rest of those, and before we cover the second half of Newcastle game as well, or should I say after the Newcastle game tonight, our next live offering will be the FA Cup final between Chelsea and Leicester tomorrow night, with yours truly, Russ Vernon, on the mic for that one. Right, the players are just getting ready to come back out. I'll just quickly run through the remainder of the matches. So Barnsley Swansea on Monday night at 8:15 with yours truly on the mic. Then we've got Matt back on the mic on Tuesday. 8:15 on Monday, should I say, Barnsley Swansea. On Tuesday, 6 o'clock, got Oxford against Blackpool. Matt Iles will be in the commentary off seat for that one. We'll hopefully bring you that one. We've got Newport against Forest Green with myself. Nicholas Jones will fetch Lincoln Sunderland, and Matt will fetch Tranmere Morecambe as the second half is underway. So I'm back over now to Matt Iles for Newcastle against Manchester City.
Thank you very much, Russ. Yes, second half underway. As Russ said, Manchester City in possession in the opening few seconds, and it's a good chance for me to go through the teams very, very quickly. No subs at the break for either side, in which we played 52 minutes of that first half, which was absolutely extraordinary. We were only supposed to be playing 3 minutes, but the lengthy delay and the decision to give the penalty, looking at various aspects, the offside on St. Maximan, and of course the foul on Joe Linton by Ake, of course meant that Kevin Friend had to go more than the 3 minutes of stoppage time that he intended to add on. Newcastle at Dubravka. They have the 5 at the back of Murphy, Kraft, Fernandez, Dummett and Ritchie. It's Almiron, Shelvey and Willock as a 3. Joe Linton, St. Maximan up front. Gillespie, Clark, Lewis, Manquillo, Matty Longstaff, Sean Longstaff, Jeff Hendrick, Andy Carroll and Dwight Gale are the 9 substitutes. Manchester City, Scott Carson in goal. Walcott, Garcia, Ake and Cancelo the back 4. Rodri, Gundogan and Bernardo are the 3 in midfield, with Ferran Torres, Sterling, Jesus the 3 up front. And the subs are Stefan, Diaz, Stones, Mendy, Laporte, Fernandinho, Foden, Mahrez and Cole Palmer, as Joe Willock's cross is one that goes straight into the hands of Scott Carson. We played just over 90 seconds of this second half. It is Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2, in which Newcastle were second best for the majority of the first half, but they find themselves level and really believing that they can maybe get something from it. One thing that was very noticeable in the first half was that Manchester City left so much space in behind them. They played so high, given that, of course, Newcastle allowed them so much freedom and almost said, you have the ball, you carry on. We'll just do what we're doing and carry on with it. It meant that if they were to win it or just pump it long in the hope of their pace of St. Maximan chasing it down, or Joe Linton, it would create an opportunity or win them a penalty, as it did in the latter stages of that first half. His Nathan Ake as he turns and gives it back to Rodri. Now, Nathan Ake has it once more. Sterling to Joao Cancelo. Now it's with Eric Garcia. Bernardo. He now finds Ferran Torres. Now to Bernardo Silva. Lovely ball to Kyle Walker. Gundogan's in the box. Plays it out to the left and finds Joao Cancelo's already scored tonight. Decides against shooting here as Jesus is the man who's in front of him and receives the pass. Jesus with the run goes down right on the corner of the left-hand box. Quite a dangerous area for Murphy to make a foul from, but luckily for him, it's not a penalty. Instead, he just gives away a free kick. He just catches Jesus as he just manages to just squeeze it beyond him. Murphy with the foot out there as the referee says free kick. Well, Gundogan tried to catch Dubravka out with an earlier free kick in the first half, which didn't come to anything. What will the free kick be like on this occasion? As it is smack bang right on the left-hand corner of the box. Him and Bernardo Silva are having words about it. Joao Cancelo right on the edge of the box. Newcastle got a deep line. Gundogan whips it all the way in. It's gone all the way through. It's took a nick off a Newcastle player. I think it might have actually took one off John Joe Shelvey, but regardless, it's a Man City corner. Yeah, it is John Joe Shelvey. He tries to attack it. It's skimmed off his head, hasn't it? And gone out for a corner, and it's so dangerous for a goalkeeper there, Dubravka, to think about where it's going to go, but luckily it was well beyond him and out for a corner. Gundogan will take the corner. In it goes. Rodri went for it. It was over his head. Newcastle headed away. Very, very well. Here is now Shelvey. His pass along the floor has gone straight to Kyle Walker, who's found it inside his own half. Now, Bernardo to Ilkay Gundogan. Rodri to Nathan Ake. 5 minutes of the second half play. Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2 on a game you're listening to on the Commentary Hub. New name that we announced this afternoon. We hope you like the name change. Please do let us know if you are on board with it. Of course, it's now changed from Football Commentary Live to the Commentary Hub, as we've got big ideas coming up in the next few weeks and months of both coverage in football and in sport. We're not going to try and tease too much more, as we will announce in due course the changes that we will make. Here is Nathan Ake. Now Gundogan. Ake gets it back. Here is now Cancelo. Gundogan under pressure from Willock, but the free kick is given by Kevin Friend, who spots that Cancelo was fouled by Jacob Murphy, who's walking a tightrope. Remember, he's not yet been booked, but he's committed a few fouls tonight as the Newcastle right wing back, and Gundogan will take this free kick. His delivery resulted in Ferran Torres scoring with 3 minutes of the first half remaining. Then he had one in the second half, which was a real teasing ball, which went through everybody and took a nick off a Newcastle player's head in Shelvey. He goes short with this one to cancel it. Maybe something from the training ground, perhaps. Walker then with the high lofted ball. Bernardo Silva tries to volley it low on that left foot of his. Defended well by St. Maximan. Gundogan is closed down well by St. Maximan, who is fouled by Ilkay Gundogan, and Newcastle got a free kick. But pat on the back for Alan St. Maximan there, who did superbly in stopping Gundogan bringing the ball. He just won it cleanly off him and fairly. And then as he tried to get away from Gundogan, he just held on to him, and obviously St. Maximan went down and won the free kick. Of course, what hasn't changed is how you can find us on social media. You can go to @CommentaryLive1, capital C, capital L, and then the number 1 at the end. Of course, on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, you can follow us on Facebook. Simply go to facebook.com/Commentary Hub. That is what has changed in this instance. As the Twitter remains the same, our Facebook has changed. Here is Bernardo Silva, who cannot keep it in, as Walker's pass was a heavy one, and it's gone out of play for a Newcastle throw. Well, Steve Bruce has often been criticised for a lack of real attacking intent in some games. With the 2 goals they've scored tonight, they've scored 14 in their last 6 games. capping off what's been a pretty good sort of few weeks for them. They scored 4 away at Leicester last Friday, 3 against West Ham, 2 v Burnley, 2 v Tottenham, 1 against Liverpool. The only game they haven't scored in their 6 is against Arsenal, in which they were well beat by Mikel Arteta's side a few weeks ago. Here's Murphy with a rare going forward attempt as he tries to play it through to Willock. Cut up by Nathan Ake, got that challenge right in the box this time. And Newcastle got a corner. Jacob Murphy got the ball there, looked up, knew exactly what Willock was trying to do. Nathan Ake came across and dealt with it well. Of course, he committed a foul earlier in the game. It was right on that occasion with that challenge. As Newcastle have their first corner. Man City will be aware of what Newcastle possess from these situations, given that Emil Kraft scored from this around about 25 minutes in. Kraft is in there again. St. Maximan's on the back post. Joe Linton's in there. It's going to be Matt Rich who's going to deliver this for Newcastle. And it goes by the number 11. It's attacked well. It was attacked by Fernandez. It's gone off a Man City knee. He just about got it away. It's St. Maximan. Crowded out by a few City players. He manages to play it to Miguel Almiron. Cross goes in by Dummett. Not a bad delivery. And Joe Linton attacks it, and he actually didn't even head it toward goal. Instead, he headed it away from the goal and back into the attacking box. It just went off the wrong side of his head. He didn't actually know where on earth that went from that header, but it's certainly not where he wanted it to go, and didn't have the direct route to goal that he was hoping for. Here is St. Maximan, who's now gone wide to receive the ball. He was very much playing through the middle in that first half. Good feet shown again by him. Now he goes out to Jacob Murphy. Chance for him to maybe shoot and test Scott Carson. He goes low. Does test Carson. But it's a good save by Carson, who dived down low to keep it out and shut the door on Jacob Murphy. Good build-up play by Newcastle. We've not really seen them do that tonight. Really work it well. It was a nice interchange between Willock and St. Maximan. It goes out to Murphy. And that's the first time we've seen him really attack and be direct at the Manchester City defence. And he struck it at goal, but it was just too straight. And Scott Carson did very well to save it. And that's a goalkeeper's meat and drink in that situation. Well, as I was alluding to, saying earlier on, of course, it is 14 goals in 6 games for Newcastle in their last 6 in the Premier League. Prior to that, last 10 games, they managed just 10 goals. And of course, in those 10 games, they didn't score in 3 of them against Chelsea, West Bromwich Albion and Brighton, which was, to some Newcastle fans, the last straw. But ever since that Brighton 3-0 loss at the Amex, they've turned a corner as they've gone on a bit of a run, which has got them to safety and is standing them in good stead tonight against the champions, as Jacob Murphy stands up well against Cancelo and gets away from him. And has won a free kick. Cancelo would just not let go. And as he wraps his arm round Murphy's neck, he kicks the ball away. Kevin Friend has to show a yellow card now, which he does exactly for Joao Cancelo, who didn't understand the definition of just leave him alone and just let him be. Yeah, he had a goal on his shirt, and then he went and put his hand round his neck. Then he just deliberately tried to kick the ball toward Jacob Murphy. And Murphy, of course, for just a few brief seconds there, was a little bit unhappy with it, as he would be, and as many players in that situation would find themselves. And Cancelo's rightly got booked for it. Who will take the kick toward Joe Linton. Rodri underneath it and tumbling along with the Brazilian Joe Linton. Dummett heads it into Almiron. Now Ritchie looks up, plays it forward, looking for Willock. Ake missed it with the head. It's come to Willock. Getting across to make the block was Eric Garcia. Nathan Ake's had a bit of a shaky night at times tonight, and that was another example of not being confident at the back. Yeah, Joe Willock really shouldn't be winning that in that position. Ake's got to be really powerful trying to head that. And when it comes to Willock, his eyes light up. Of course, he's in great goal scoring form. But Garcia just gets in front and blocks the shot. Vital block that, because That looked like it was heading on target. Bit more endeavour, bit more adventure about Newcastle, of course, in this second half, as Nathan Ake is trying to get it back up to speed. He took a bit of a knock trying to head that ball away with Willock alongside him. It will be Richie to take this corner. In it goes. Doesn't get any height generated behind it. Headed away well by Cancelo. Sterling knocked it back to Walker. Now it's with Joao Cancelo again. Good forward run. Shelvey fouls him. And that's going to be a yellow card for John Joe Shelvey, as he cynically brings down Joao Cancelo. He received it well from that pass. Set away well. It was Ferran Torres who actually played the ball to him. Sorry, it was Cancelo who played it to Torres, I beg your pardon. Then Torres got clipped by Shelvey, and then the booking was the right decision. And it's the 7th time that Shelvey has been cautioned this season, as Ferran Torres is down receiving treatment. 14 minutes of the second half play. Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2. We've got more action to bring you on Commentary Hub this coming week. Of course, the playoffs begin in the EFL. It's the championship that kicks us off on Monday. Join Russ Vernon for Barnsley against Swansea, as, of course, the Tykes entertain the Swans in Yorkshire for that first leg. On Tuesday, it's a League One we go, as Oxford take on Blackpool at the Kassam Stadium. Carl Robinson's side, remember, sneaked into the playoffs on the last day against third place Blackpool. And then on Wednesday, Nicholas Jones will be bringing you Lincoln against Sunderland from Sincil Bank. And then Thursday, we wrap it up as Tranmere, managerless. Remember, they sacked their manager Keith Hill, surprisingly, on Monday, take on Derek Adams, surprise contenders Morecambe. But it's a free kick for Manchester City. Bernardo and Gundogan both eyeing this up. Gundogan dummies it, lets Bernardo take it, whips it all the way in. Really well taken by Martin Dubravka. Leapt up well to take that. He's not had a lot to hold tonight or gather, but that was a fine example of when he had to step in and do so. He did it very, very well and very confidently as he rolls it out. Now Amron inside Manchester City's half, through to Joel Linton, who leaves it for Willock. It's a good run. He goes down again. It's another penalty. This time committing the foul was Kyle Walker. Joe Willock with a real powerful, positive drive forward results in a second penalty of the night for the Magpies. And this second half, he's been more forward-thinking, more direct. Kyle Walker, we spoke so well about in recent weeks in his positioning and his defensive play all round improving, showed his old self by not being alive and alert and committing a foul. And Joel Linton, who's already scored one penalty tonight, has the chance to do so again, or we thought it was going to be, but it's actually going to be Joe Willock who's going to do it as Joe Linton steps aside. And remember, Joe Willock could be the first English player to score in 4 successive Premier League appearances for Newcastle since Michael Owen 13 years ago. So what a chance this is to etch his name into a small part of Magpies history. It's Willock against Carson. Can he save a penalty? Willock is now stepping up, and it's saved by Carson, but the rebound goes to Willock, and he puts it away. It's 3-2 to Newcastle. Joe Willock scores again in the Premier League for the Magpies. What a loan signing he's proved to be. And the champions in their first game since their crown being given back to them, it is not going to plan. And Carson, who made the penalty save, has quickly had it took away from him, with Willock scoring the rebound. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 2. It's not the best penalty really by Willock. It's too low and not enough power behind it. Carson with a really good low save, but unfortunately for him, he powers it the other side. He powers it to his right, and Willock reacts quickly to just put it into the empty net, just stays cool and does the business. Brilliantly done. It is his 6th goal for Newcastle. And it's of course, in that period, it's 5 in the last time he's scored in. So well done to him for that. And of course, he's actually their second top goal scorer alongside Joel Linton. Of course, Callum Wilson out in front with 12, almost double what Joel Linton and himself have contributed to Newcastle. But they're 3-2 up, and 2 of the goals have stemmed from poor Manchester City defensive errors. Walker now to Bernardo. Here's Rodri. Bernardo on the ball again. Here is now Kyle Walker. Good running. Jesus with the ball in, and it's put in. It's Ferran Torres. It's 3-3. What a game we've got here at St James's Park. We've got a 6th goal, and it's a second of the night for Ferran Torres. And Joe Willock's rebound from the penalty counts for nothing as Manchester City level the score and cancel out. Willock putting Newcastle in front for a second time. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 3. They respond so brilliantly. Jesus with the run. Good low crossing. Torres just sticks his foot out and it goes in beyond Dubravka. The contact is excellent and it's just right under the nose of Dubravka, who's got not enough time to react. And it goes in 3-3. Well, what a crazy game we've got here. 19 minutes of the second half played, and we've seen a penalty miss, and then a goal from Joe Willock. We've also seen then just a few minutes later another goal go in, courtesy of Ferran Torres. So what a night he's had on an individual note. As Manchester City, it's their turn to equalise, and it's the second time they've done so tonight. Pep Guardiola's side, and what a big, big goal it is as well. It gets them level, and it gets everybody guessing who's going to potentially get a 7th of this extraordinary match. We have seen some absolutely astonishing matches this season. Man United 1, Tottenham 6, Aston Villa 7, Liverpool 2. Of course, Newcastle winning 4-2 away at Leicester was quite a shock result. But if they were to beat Manchester City here, this would be a real biggie as well, as Armstrong gives it to Murphy as this game has just completely opened up in a short space of time. Murphy does well. Shot goes in, Ake in the way of it, and then adjusts his feet to clear it as Sterling goes down under the challenge of Emil Kraft. But Newcastle's counter-attacking play is really there in this second half. Well, it goes to Murphy. He's been more alive. He goes on the outside of Joao Cancelo. This second half has allowed Murphy to come forward, go on the outside and drills the shot, but it's well blocked by Ake. Here is Cancelo. Goes for the curler off the post. It's gone to Torres, and there's his hat-trick. Well, it's a brilliant finish by the Spaniard. He just reacts on the 6-yard box to stick it in to get his 3rd of the night. He's got 2 in a matter of just a few minutes in this second half. We have a 7th goal. It's Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4, and they have responded like champions in terms of them going 3-2 down, and then within just the space of 5 minutes, they've made it 4-3. Cancelo with a really good shot off the post. It's lucky that it's gone off the outside of it, gone back into play, into the path of Torres, who's alive to just stick it away and just half volley it in. It's quite an emphatic finish, really, from such a close angle and pretty much being down the middle of the pitch. And he's put it away. Newcastle 3, Man City 4. Well, whilst defensively they've been a little bit suspect tonight, Manchester City, one thing that you cannot take away is their finishing has been absolutely spectacular. And in particular from Ferran Torres, that first goal he scored was the pick of the 3. Then, of course, he scored that second of his in which he finished off from Jesus' cross. And then that one was a very good finish as well on the rebound. So all the goals have been very different and have been very reactive type finishes, haven't they? Where he's had to think quickly and get himself in the right position to score. And he's done just that. Jesus, who's in this second half almost played as a right winger, gives it to Gundogan. Rodri to Ake, I'm not sure if this game actually is going to show any signs of calming down. It has been absolutely frantic and fast-paced in the 12 and a half minutes in the 22 and a half minutes that we've had of this second half. What a game it's been. It was 2-2 at the end of the first half. And then, of course, we've had 3 goals in that period. Newcastle went 3-2 up with Joe Willock scoring after he missed a penalty, and then just a few seconds later tucked the rebound away. And Ferran Torres just a few minutes later made it 3-3. And then just 2 minutes after he equalised, he did it again to get his hat-trick as João Cancelo's on the ground after being fouled and is holding his shin as he was fouled by Joel Linton there, who gave a bit of a kick on his ankle, in fact, as Cancelo rolls around on the pitch and is now back up to his feet as the Portuguese left back. Well, Joel Linton did a very good thing and allowed Willock to take the penalty in order to keep up his amazing scoring record in the black and white of Newcastle. Unfortunately, the penalty didn't come off, but the rebound did. But unfortunately, within just the space of 5 minutes, Manchester City have gone and hit 2 that has put the game in their favour and has got them in the driving seat and something that they can build upon. Remember, Manchester City are on a fantastic away run themselves. They are on a 19-match consecutive away victory run. Of course, this could surpass, since drawing 0-0 at Man United on the 12th of December, they have won 19 away games, which is an extraordinary statistic. And of course, they're looking to go 23 games unbeaten if they avoid defeat tonight, something that's not been done by any side in all the top 4 divisions. And the last side that did that was Notts County back in 2012 in League One. So it's a 9-year-old record, which as it stands is going to be smashed by Manchester City as Joel Linton is fouled by Raheem Sterling. As we're entering the final 20 minutes, it is Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4. No, I'm not speaking out of turn. It is actually Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4. It was Newcastle who took the lead with Emil Kraft in the 25th minute. Then Manchester City went 2-1 up with Cancelo and Ferran Torres scoring in the final 10 minutes of the first half. Then a penalty at the end of the first half was took by Joel Linton after much deliberating with the VAR. He tucked it away to make it 2-2. That's how it was at the end of the first half. In the second half, Newcastle went in front through a Joe Willock rebounded effort, which of course he saw his penalty saved by Scott Carson. And then Manchester City, just within 5 minutes of them going 3-2 down, turned it around to go 4-3 up with Ferran Torres getting another 2 goals. That, of course, means he's got 3 for the night and will be taking home the hat-trick ball once this game ends. And it does just feel like there's going to be another goal in this one. As if, of course, we've already seen 7. We didn't expect to see 7. We must admit, before a ball was kicked, if you were going to maybe see a 7-goal game, it was not going to be Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4. It might have actually probably been maybe a 5-2, maybe a 6-1. City are capable of doing that, but Newcastle have certainly made this an intriguing and very enjoyable contest this evening in the Northeast, as Jesus gives it to Ferran Torres. Cancelo now to Nathan Ake. Now it's with Raheem Sterling. Now gone out to that left-hand side, which he was in for that first half. In by Cancelo. Headed away well by Paul Dummett. Rodri then knocks it to Kyle Walker. Down on the deck is Joel Linton wanting a free kick. Kevin Friend says no foul. Now Cancelo has it once more. Out to the left with Raheem Sterling. Cancelo to Gundogan. Now Nathan Ake. Eric Garcia. Bernardo to Walker. Bernardo again. Manchester City just let the game settle and calm down a bit. It was an absolutely manic 5-10 minute period, which is in their favour. Cancelo to Rodri. First touch lets him down. The ball came into him rather quickly. But of course, Newcastle are able to deal with it and clear it away. As St Maximin cuts a lowly figure up there. He's playing the furthest out of him and Joe Linton, who, of course, are playing as a pair tonight and did last week and caused Leicester all sorts of problems. Joe Linton and St Maximin at times, albeit small times, have caused this Manchester City a problem or two in this one. Gundogan to Eric Garcia up from the back, but his pass has been intercepted very well by Miguel Almiron as he turns and waits for St Maximin. He finds St Maximin, who's gone from the middle to the left to receive it. Now he goes out to the other flank and picks out Murphy, who comes into the middle. Slides it through to Willock, who's onside. Willock will shoot, but he's blazed it over the bar. But Jacob Murphy, who's had a very good second half, created the chance for Willock, but it was a tight angle, and the shot from him went away, and Scott Carson just sticks his hand in the air to say that that's going over the bar. Yeah, Joe Willock in this second half has been a real key person for Newcastle. He's the person that they're looking to more than St Maximin and Joe Linton. He made a really good run there, just darted in front of Nathan Ake, but he just blazed it over the bar, and unfortunately the finish was rather disappointing from him. Cancelo off. Wise decision in the circumstances, given he's been booked. And Benjamin Mendy comes on, the French defender, on in place of João Cancelo, who is replaced with 15 minutes of the game to go. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4, and a game you're listening to on Commentary Hub, our new name, of course, which has changed from Football Commentary Live. You can follow our Twitter page at Commentary Live 1, capital C, capital O, and then the number 1 at the end. Of course, you can go to our Facebook page, which is, of course, changed to www.facebook.com/Commentary Hub. Manchester City attacking with Gundogan now on the ball in the middle as he plays it to Rodri. Now Mendy, he'll get the cross in, deep ball in, away by Fernandez, who heads it away as he goes to ground and heads it out for a throw, which is taken quickly by Benjamin Mendy. Ake to Garcia. Ake again. Now Ilkay Gundogan. Garcia to Kyle Walker. Now Bernardo Silva. Walker has it again. Newcastle, who very much deployed this tactic of keeping themselves to themselves in the first half, are falling into that in this second half as Gundogan goes to Mendy. He puts the cross in high. Rather disappointing ball by him. That was a low cross, which Bernardo Silva's done remarkable to keep in. And now Newcastle come forward with Almiron. St Maximin's to his left. He's got Joe Linton to his right. He might go to Loner Almiron, but the pass just didn't have enough substance behind it. And Nathan Ake easily deals with it and just plays it along the floor. Really disappointing from Almiron. He gets into a really good position. He does the hard part. He breaks away. We know how good he is getting away from the danger, but he just rushed the pass, didn't he? Joe Linton, made that run through. He's just got to wait. Just got to wait. He's got to play it away from Ake rather than play it into him. And that's a real missed opportunity. Here is Garcia to Walker. Now in possession is Bernardo Silva. Walker finds Ilkay Gundogan. Good running by Gundogan. Sterling, Gundogan again. Shelvey went in with the challenge. Luckily didn't catch Gundogan, who gets the shot away, but it's off target. And Pep Guardiola claps the move and gives his appreciation to it. But what he won't appreciate, I don't think, was the finish by Ilkay Gundogan. Yeah, it wasn't the best finish by Gundogan there. It came into him. It was really nice setup play. Came into him in a really nice area. Shelvey, of course, went in with a swipe to try and knock him off his perch and not allow the shot to come in. But as he took aim, Gundogan, he was off balance and in the end hit it well wide of Martin Dubravka's goal. Is Nathan Ake, who's at times had quite a testing night at St James's Park. Here is now Jesus. What is very clear to see with Manchester City that this isn't the usual three they go with, of course. You know, if you do play Torres, Sterling and Jesus, you do usually find Sterling may be out on the right, Jesus in the middle, Torres down the left, or him switching flanks with Sterling. But of course, Guardiola has been very much intent on just keeping them in one solitary position rather than roaming around in this second half. As Gundogan plays it to the left and to Mendy. Torres made the run through the middle, but Gundogan thought that the pass wasn't the right one to make. Looking for Torres. Bernardo on it. Dribbles away from two Newcastle players. Now up to Gundogan. They've managed the game well, have Manchester City, ever since they went back in front, courtesy of that hat-trick goal from Ferran Torres. Mendy to Sterling is on the edge of the box. Now to Bernardo Silva. Mendy to Rodri. Now Gundogan. Good run and good feet shown by him. Turns away. Now to Rodri. Space closed down there by Willock, and then Almiron fouled by Rodri, who gives away a free kick. Shelby takes quickly as he looks for Joe Linton, who's up there all on his own as he waits for Willock and players to arrive. The man who does arrive is Richie. He looks to try and play it out to Jacob Murphy, but he doesn't put enough on it, and he gives it straight to Benjamin Mendy. Now Raheem Sterling. Here is now Jesus. Turns on the inside of Richie. Now Mendy has it. Into Jesus once more. Now Gundogan. Sterling. Newcastle have got pretty much every outfielder back as they inside their own half as they try and keep it at 4-3. 4-3 gives them the belief that they can equalise. 5-3 against this Man City side. I have to say the game's over. They have stayed in it, have Newcastle. They've done very, very well tonight at staying in the game. But unfortunately for them, still behind as Manchester City look like they're going to be continuing their extraordinary away form by making it 20 consecutive victories on the road. And of course, unbeaten away since December on the road, and of course will set a record for the first time in 9 years in English football of going 24 away matches unbeaten, surpassing Notts County's run in 2012, in which they of course notched up 23 matches without defeat in that period. Final 9 minutes of this game remaining. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4. It's been an absolutely superb game at St James's Park. We saw a cracker last night at Old Trafford as Liverpool prevailed against Manchester United in that delayed game. Tonight, of course, we've seen a different game. We've seen a game where we didn't think the hosts would really be able to compete with Manchester City, but how they've managed to show the watching public that they are a team that wanted to try and change that, and have certainly given Manchester City more than a fright and have given them a real worry as well, as Walker now has it. Decides to go back to Eric Garcia. We'll just give it to Scott Carson, who on his first appearance in 10 years in the Premier League is not going to be keeping a clean sheet tonight. But he can be proud of the fact he's managed to save a penalty, which is always a particularly nice thing for a goalkeeper to speak about at the end of a match. And of course, unfortunately, the rebound was tucked in by Willock, but when you win and you save a penalty, it's extra sweeter as well. Gundogan to Kyle Walker. Walker again. Thought about playing the ball forward, that little chipped ball, if you like, but He decided to turn back, did Walker, as Manchester City have just very much settled into a rhythm of just keeping the ball and not rushing to go forward. They had so much aggression and so much swagger when they did go behind that they were intent on getting back in it, which they did. And they did it, of course, within the space of just a few minutes. Walker gets it from Torres. Good delivery in there, and Dubravka went to try and claim it. Completely missed it, but it's gone out of play for a goal kick. Yeah, it's really fizzed in by Walker. And obviously, the ball goes in. He tries to pick out a blue shirt. Of course, no one's really ran onto it and attacked it. But even if they did, I don't think they would have had much luck. Matt Ritchie coming off as Sean Longstaff comes on. The big, tall midfielder. And Joel Linton is replaced as Jamal Lewis comes on for the final 6+ minutes of this one at St James's Park. So Sean Longstaff on in place of Matt Ritchie, Jamal Lewis on in place of Joel Linton. So what will be happening here with this sub? Well, it almost looks like they've gone with pace over physicality, with St Maximan and Willock playing as a 2, if you like, as Willock has made a good forward run. Garcia cuts it out and then just clips it forward for Sterling to try and get under control. The touch lets him down as Gundogan closes down Jacob Murphy, and he commits a foul on Ferran Torres. Kevin Friend is wanting a word now with Jacob Murphy, who is going to receive probably another warning. Is the Newcastle right wing back. So Mendy's taking this free kick short. Gundogan to Eric Garcia. Final 5 minutes of this one at St James's Park. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4. And a game you're listening to on the Commentary Hub. Our new name for alternative commentary. We're obviously trying to branch out not just into football, but we are trying to expand ourselves into other sports as well. But that's to come, of course, down the line. It's just a little teaser for all you listeners on a regular basis, or first-time listeners, of what is to come over the next few weeks and months. Of course, our football coverage doesn't stop. We've got the playoffs in the EFL, which begin on Monday. Ross Vernon on the mic as Barnsley take on Swansea from 8:15 at Oakwell. I'll be bringing you the game as Oxford take on Blackpool at 6 p.m. from the Kassam. Nicholas Jones is on the mic for the other League One game as Lincoln take on Sunderland, and then Tranmere Morecambe on Thursday kicks off in League Two with myself on the mic for that. As now Jesus has it, who of course grabbed an assist for Ferran Torres' second goal of the night at St James's Park. Not a bad first visit to the northeast and this part of England for the Spaniard Torres. Sterling, of course, in Manchester City winning, Guardiola's resorted and not decided to bring on Foden or Mahrez yet. Will we see a few minutes for Cole Palmer, a man who's, of course, come from their academy and as of yet is not played for the first team of Manchester City. Here is now Eric Garcia. Here is Jesus. Rodri now to Nathan Ake. Mendy. Gundogan. Sterling. Nice intricate passing. Very smooth stuff. Mendy set away. Cuts it to the edge of the box looking for Silva. Well defended there by Shelvin and well shepherded by Sean Longstaff in a difficult position. He gives it to Murphy, whose clearance didn't have a lot of oomph behind it. And it's bounced off a Man City player, but has gone out for a throw-in anyway. Dwight Gale is the third and final change for the Magpies tonight. 1 goal for him in the Premier League. Dwight Gale, now 31 years of age, has been in the top flight for a few years now with the likes of Palace and Newcastle, has Federico Fernandez is off as Steve Bruce has gone bold, changed tact and moved towards more attacking play, and of course has thrown on a striker which they didn't actually have on the pitch for at least 3.5 minutes after Joel Linton left the pitch. So he comes on as they go in search of an equalising goal and, more importantly, a point which they've been searching for ever since the 67th minute. They, of course, held the lead twice in this game, did Newcastle. Of course, they took the lead with Emil Kraft inside 25 minutes, and then they went 3-2 up with Joe Willock missing a penalty, and then just around about 10 seconds later, tucking the rebound in. So they have had it in their hands, but Manchester City have taken it from their hands. As Rodri gives it to Bernardo Silva. Now Walker to Gabriel Jesus, who's played well on that right-hand side in this second half. Bernardo Silva now to Ilkay Gundogan. Now Mendy. Gundogan again. Rodri. Mendy's made the run forward. Rodri decides to just go inside to Sterling. Now Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. Torres is ahead of him. Just brings it forward a few yards. Ball at his feet now. Walker to Nathan Ake. Rodri to Ake. Now to Gundogan. Just drew out a couple of Newcastle players there. There was a seismic gap in that midfield for Gundogan to receive the ball in. Good feet by Torres. Really good feet as well. He's going to shoot at goal, looking for his fourth of the night. John Joe Shelvey in the way of it, well blocked. He's almost playing as a centre-back at the moment, is Shelvey. But you can't excuse Ferran Torres for trying it as he sticks his hand up to apologise. He could have played it to the right, but the amount of confidence that he's got at the moment is reflecting in his performance tonight as we're into the final 30 seconds of normal time here from the game at St James's Park in what has been a thriller in the northeast. And of course, it is just a shame that they didn't save this game for the supporters. Of course, they will get fans in both these sides, as all will Premier League clubs, for the final 2-round matches. At least one home game every Prem side will see supporters. Newcastle will see it against Sheffield United on Wednesday, whilst Manchester City will see it against Everton on the final day in 9 days' time. And with it, they will have fans present as they lift the Premier League trophy. Here is Gabriel Jesus. Manchester City will really run. Will wrap this up. Goes on the right of Jamal Lewis. Good cross in, but it's gone off the defender, Paul Dummett, and it's gone out of play for a Manchester City throw. 5 minutes added on with 30 seconds into it. As Jesus receives it with Jamal Lewis right behind him. He gives it to Bernardo Silva. Rodri gets it back. Gives it back, to Bernardo Silva. Now, Nathan Ake. Sterling to Gundogan. Oh, that's lovely football. Mendy's got Torres to his right, looks for him. Dummett comes in to send it out for a corner as he falls to the ground, but Benjamin Mendy looked up, but he just didn't get enough behind it as Torres was racing onto it. Yeah, Mendy looks for Torres. It's that quick ball, isn't it? It was a lovely pass through to him from Ilkay Gundogan. It was just a shame that Mendy's ball into the box, the most important one you could say before the chance could have happened at goal, just didn't have enough quality of a delivery on it. Gundogan is taking the corner as the ball is not actually on that D, as it is just on the outside of it. Will be Gundogan to take. Arm goes in the air. Who's he going to try and pick out? He doesn't pick anybody out as Dubravka comes out and collects it. He's thrown it behind his head, almost like a throw-in, as he gives it to Miguel Almiron as Newcastle come forward in the hope of getting an equaliser, which they're looking to do for the second time tonight. But it's defended well by Jesus, who's there as Ferran Torres is fouled. Joe Willock and Newcastle have won a free kick with Willock going to ground. It was a studs to the ankle on Joe Willock, which was a decision that was A good one by Kevin Friend. Taken short by Sean Longstaff. In goes the ball in deep from the area, headed down by Dummett as he was looking for Dwight Gale. Manchester City get it away. Under pressure is Jacob Murphy from Ferran Torres. His Sterling couldn't get it out of there as Jamal Lewis slides in and stops him playing it to the right where there was a blue shirt ready and waiting to receive the ball in absolute yards of space. Final 2 minutes of stoppage time and Manchester City edging closer to another away success. It's been a real key point, not just at home, but abroad, of course, in the Champions League. Of course, they have beaten Mönchengladbach, Paris Saint-Germain. They've beaten Borussia Dortmund away. Just a trio of sides that they have beaten en route to the Champions League final, which, of course, will be played in Portugal. As, of course, it was announced this week it's moved from Istanbul. Here is now Jesus. Thought about the shot on his left foot, but then decided to play it to Rodri. Here's Gundogan. He'll line one up, goes for the curler. But he's put too much on it and has sent that one high over the bar and into the stand behind the goal. Well, Steve Bruce has given as much encouragement as he can to his team. He's trying to motivate them in the search for an equaliser. Newcastle have made this a really good game, in fact, against the champions. They've more than held their own, as that ball is a really good one through to Jesus, who's just pumped forward. He just let it bounce, Jesus, before he just took the ball under control. Rodri. Torres. So Rodri again is Mendy. As we know, loves to get forward. He just isn't afraid to do so, is he? Gundogan to Sterling. Rodri in the middle. Well, I said it before, but Manchester City's game management after they went 4-3 up has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, they did it against Paris Saint-Germain in that second leg 10 days ago, which, of course, saw them over the line to reach their first ever Champions League final. And they're going to get over the line to record another win in the league. It will be their 26th in 36 matches, as Garcia's been put under pressure by Miguel Almiron. The 5 minutes are up now. Zake gives it to Garcia. He plays it along the floor. And there is the full-time whistle. Well, it was a spectacle for the supporters at home as Guardiola and Steve Bruce have a smile and have a lengthy arm round each other. But Manchester City, away form, continues in the right form as they've recorded another win to make it 20 straight wins on the road in all competitions, as they've won by 4-3 at St James's Park, with Ferran Torres getting 3 of the 4 as he takes home the match ball and gets his first hat-trick as a Manchester City player. Newcastle took the lead early on with Emil Kraft heading in after 25 minutes in a game that the first half they were second best in. Manchester City scored 2 within the last 6 minutes of the first half, with Cancelo and Torres scoring. But then right at the end of the first half, Joelinton won a penalty courtesy of a lunge from Nathan Ake, which the referee, Kevin Friend, really took a long time to give a penalty. He got the word in his ear from Darren England that the decision was a penalty and it should be given as one. Joelinton did the business from 12 yards as he scored in the 6th minute of added on first time. As, of course, we went well over the 3 additional minutes. And then the second half, it was a crazy 5-minute period. 62 minutes in, Newcastle were awarded another penalty as Willock was fouled by Kyle Walker. He stepped up, missed the penalty, but scored the rebound as he scored his 6th goal in his loan spell and what's been a remarkable one from Arsenal. Then just a matter of around 3 minutes later, Ferran Torres scored his 2nd of the game to make it 3-3 as he scored from Jesus' cross. And then he scored again after Cancelo's shot hit the post. It bounced back into play and he fired it in as Manchester City then held on and kept it at 4-3. They extend their lead at the top, even though it doesn't really matter given they're already champions. They've extended it to 13 points as it's full time here. And what a crazy game, and it was real Friday night entertainment for all you listening and for the fans watching the game. Full time, Newcastle 3, Manchester City 4.
Fantastic game, and I'm fully glad we fetched that one tonight, Matt. I think you would be as well after commentating on that enthralling encounter at St James's Park this evening.
I think I need to
And
catch my
Matt,
breath, Russ. That's one thing for sure.
yes,
Wow.
Matt.
Wow.
Before you do catch your breath, Matt, one
Yep.
simple question to you. I think you know what question that's going to be. Man of
Yep.
the match, sponsored by Community Services for you, was go on.
Ferran Torres, easy decision. Got his hat trick, took all his goals really well. You know, the first one is obviously the pick of the bunch, the sort of, you know, if you're looking at the highlight reel of all 3 goals, it's the one you're going to keep playing and watch over and over again. It's an extraordinary finish. He backheels it from that free kick that was whipped in by Ilkay Gundogan. The second goal, he got in the right position to finish off from Jesus' cross. It was the same for the third. Of course, he just gambles on the fact it's going to come back into play via a save or by the post from Cancelo's shot. He did exactly that, and he put it into the empty net as he stole the show tonight at St James's Park, and he's rightfully man of the match.
Yes, Matt. I was hoping you'd say Ferran Torres for man of the match because that's who I thought would get man of the match, especially after his hat trick this evening. And just want to say on behalf of the team here at Football Commentary Live, Matt, I think you now deserve a few days off because I think you did one on Tuesday, one yesterday, and then one tonight. You had Wednesday off. And I just want to say on behalf of everyone at Football Commentary Live, I know you did co-coms on Tuesday alongside Jack, and then 2 back-to-back main commentaries. But I think you have a few days off, and we'll be looking forward to welcoming you back on Tuesday evening. But I just want to say on behalf of everyone at Football Commentary Live, thank you for your excellent contributions to the channel so far, from when it was Football Commentary Live and now the Commentary Hub. Congratulations and fantastic work on all of the coverage they've done for us so far this year since we started and since you joined us. The Commentary Hub will be glad to keep you on board going forward. Hope you're doing okay. Mike says it was definitely an easy decision as well. Ferran Torres, and he says it was a new English record as well. So fantastic commentary tonight. Hopefully the listeners who tuned in did enjoy that one. Don't forget the weekend's fixtures. Burnley versus Leeds on Saturday. Southampton versus Fulham in the Premier League along with Brighton West Ham on Sunday. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Tottenham Wolves, West Brom, Liverpool and Everton Sheffield United. And tomorrow, FA Cup final, Chelsea against Leicester. Join myself in the commentary box for that one. But from everyone here at Football Commentary Live, a big thank you once again, Matt, for your excellent commentary. And just before we actually do leave tonight, Matt, just one final point from you. If you look at the performance tonight from Manchester City, especially you've already mentioned Ferran Torres there, but was there any other players that stood out from Manchester City's point of view tonight, and was there any Newcastle player that stood out as well?
Well, I think obviously, you know, in terms of a team performance, I thought Newcastle, you know, can feel a little bit hard done by. I thought the second half in particular, they made it a really good contest. And, you know, I spoke about sort of during the start in the game, didn't I? Especially in the second half, I said that Newcastle have, you know, scored 15 goals in 6 matches. Now it is for them. Of course, prior to that, their last 10 prior to the 6 they've just scored in, they'd only scored 10. So they really made it a good contest, and it was a different Newcastle in the second half. Yes, they scored 2 in that first half, but they spent the majority of the time inside their own half. But they were bold, they were bright. They thought, you know what? It's a free hit tonight. Let's just have a go. Let's try and take the game to Man City. It was a different City side. But in terms of individual performances, I thought Jacob Murphy did really well. He had a difficult evening on paper and before the game, you know, dealing with Torres, Jesus, and Raheem Sterling. But I thought he passed the test really well. He was defensively pretty spot on. I thought Joe Willock in the second half again had a really good game. It is a shame that, of course, he's not actually a permanent Newcastle player. And, of course, there's no fans inside St James's Park to really admire his performances since he pulled the black and white on, because he's been phenomenal. In terms of Manchester City, I thought Cancelo, even though he got a cheap book and had a fairly good game, I think going forward, His game has massively improved. He's not afraid to shoot. He took his goal really well. He set the chance up for Torres' hat trick, albeit via the post. Torres was excellent tonight. I thought Jesus played well on the right-hand side. So they're the honourable mentions. But yeah, it was just a fantastic game and a real joy and a real good advert for two sides, of course. Yes, Manchester City are champions, but they're not. Their mind's probably not in playing the Premier League now. They're focusing on the Champions League final in what we're talking now, 15 days' time. And obviously, Newcastle already safe. They could easily have just taken their foot off the gas and, almost have that mentality of being on their holidays. But it was far from it tonight. And, hats off to both of them for the way they played because it was an extraordinary game.
It was indeed, Matt. It was indeed. And just before we finish off tonight, Matt, I can't let you go without asking you for one thing. It's FA Cup final day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Chelsea against Leicester. How do you see that game going? And do you think it will go all the way to penalties tomorrow night?
It feels like it's going to be a real tight contest, doesn't it? I think obviously, Leicester did impress me in the win against Manchester United on Tuesday night. They have it in their locker that they can beat the bigger sides. There's no doubt about it. Obviously Chelsea against Arsenal. Thomas Tuchel admitted he got it wrong. He's going to make changes, as we know. He's a manager who does tinker with things and can make the extraordinary call. So it's going to be an interesting game. Not a lot in it. And if I'm not actually going to predict a score, but one thing I'm going to predict, I do have the feeling that this game might go to extra time tomorrow, and it could go all the way. I just think there could be an element of maybe both sides cancelling each other out because really, yes, Chelsea do have a lot better of a team on paper than Leicester. You don't win football on paper, but in terms of how they're going to set up and the tactics side of it, there's not actually a lot in the two sides. So I can see it being a really close and good contest tomorrow at the National Stadium.
Yes, and Matt was hoping you wouldn't say good all the way to extra time and potentially penalties because I'll be the one having to commentate on the entire game and even the extra time period if he goes that far as well. And Mike also reckons he's going to go to extra time as well. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully we get it done in 90 minutes, and hopefully I get to commentate on 7 goals as well, like you have tonight, Matt. But from myself, Russell, and everyone here at the commentary hub, thank you very much for watching and listening to our brilliant coverage tonight. We'll catch you very, very soon. And Matt, thank you for your excellent work in the past few days as well here on the channel as well.
Not a problem. Really enjoyed it. And hopefully we get as many good games in the future to come as we've seen tonight, Russ.
Yes, hopefully we will do, Matt. So thank you very much for listening. I'll be back on the mic tomorrow, and I'll be probably starting around about 5 o'clock or maybe starting a little bit earlier. So make sure on both YouTube channels, mine and Mike's, you have the notification bell switched on so you know when we will be live. And keep an eye out on the Twitter and the Twitch channel for when we start streaming. Well, from everyone here at the Commentary Hub, hashtag TC Hub on the socials. Thank you very much for listening, and good night.